Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, CL King, and we're coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. And I am so delighted that for the third time in a row, we get to have a very dear, special lady, someone who is very, very special to me and very special to our organization and our team here. It's called Hope to Grief. And she is a lady who has inspired me so much with her vigilance and her resilience to tell a story that many people would cower in the face of telling that story. And so I want to let you know that you're going to be in for a wonderful opportunity to connect with a lady tonight that will help change your life. Hope Reger lives in Xenia, Ohio, and her husband, Mike, they've got two sons, Brian, 33, and Justin, who is forever 19, and three amazing grandkids, Halen, 80, and Briley. Hope's day job is a talent coordinator with a major financial institution for the past 26 years. Hope believes her purpose on life, though, beyond her day job, was given to her after the traumatic loss of her son due to murder. That purpose is to provide positivity, inspiration, and hope to others through her Grief to Hope program. She created in honor of her son, and we honored him several times here on this program. Grief to Hope is a virtual peer grief support group that allows grievers a safe place to be their authentic self with support of others and to understand and know exactly what they are going through. One of Hope's quotes she likes to end every session with is, "Grief changes your entire world. It can also inspire you to change the world." And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that this is the third time Hope Reger has been on our program. And so that lets you know how valuable she is to us and to all of our listeners. So would you please put your hands together and welcome my friend, my sister, the lady I care so much about, Hope Reger. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be back again. I love it.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like I was asking in the pre-show, which I had to fly in to get here, right? I was like, how many times is this now? And this is how you know that, we've created here at Impact Life 24/7 a cathedral of resources. And I want everyone to know that, hey, look, if you're going through something, this is the place where you can come and connect with people that can help you go through it together. So, Hope, let's get right to it. How do people connect with you?
Absolutely. My website, grief, the number 2, hopesupport.com is the easiest and fastest way to get to me. You can email me straight from the website, as well as I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, Hope Reger and Grief to Hope.
So that would be grief, the number 2, hopesupport.com. Is that what it is?
You got it.
Okay, awesome. And I want everybody tonight, if you are tuning in live or if you happen to download the podcast later, which our podcast is downloaded in 46 states, ladies and gentlemen, 46 states and about 32 countries, go ahead and go to grieftohope.com and connect with Hope Reger, because we are really looking to help expand the ministry and mission that she has. And we want everybody to know that you don't have to grieve alone. So that's an important thing. So grief, the number 2, hopesupport.com. And if we could, just give us a quick background about who you are, Hope. I know who you are. You've been my sister now. This is the 3rd show. And we Ohio brothers and sisters. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, just like you said, I've been in my day job is working for a major financial institution. I actually celebrated a flip to the 27-year mark. I live in Ohio, like you said. I am going to catch you next time you're up here. I'm going to find you
Yeah.
so we can meet in person. Oh, that would be a great conversation in person. And I really focus my purpose is all guided and created in honor of my son that I lost. Justin was 19 years old. He was actually in an altercation with a roommate of his at the time. It started verbal and ended up physical. And then the roommate pulled a gun, put it to my son's chest and shot and killed him.
Mm.
Now, in order for me to deal with everything and find it, I was searching for something that I couldn't find. And I was searching for something that would help me in this grief journey because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know how to do it. And I was overwhelmed, as you can imagine, a mother being after the event and the tragedy. And then on top of that, you have that civil kind of aspect here, not civil, criminal kind of aspect to everything. I was lost. Like I
Right.
had no idea where to go, what to turn. And finding a support group was something that I actually found comforting in the aspect that I could be around other people that understood and weren't trying to fix me.
Yeah.
And so that's where everything, the background of where Grief to Hope started. It actually started. I wanted to find something to fuel my focus and my determination to
Mm.
get to from this, I call it devastation to determination. After my son died, it took me a few years to find out what that was. But when COVID hit in 2020 and we all went virtual, that's when I put pen to paper and created Grief to Hope.
That is so amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to connect with Hope Reger, my friend, she is a woman of God, a woman of great valor and stature. You can connect with her at grief, the number 2, hope support.com. And let's hurry up and peel the covers back off of Grief to Hope, because sometimes I know we wait to the end, but let's just let people know what Grief to Hope is, Hope, so that those that are tuning in live, those that will listen and download, and they listen to the first 15 minutes, let's just catch them right now and tell them what Grief to Hope is.
Absolutely. So, Grief to Hope is a 7-week virtual support program that I run. I start a new one in October 19th of this year at 7:30, and you can find all the details on my website. But Grief to Hope is 7 weeks. Where the first week we start out as an introduction. I sort of tell my story, my why. I also want to ask anybody that wants to speak. If they don't, that's okay too.
Right.
They share their story. And then weeks 2 through 6, we talk or we spell out the word grief. And so G, we talk about the gift of time. How does time help? That famous saying, time heals all wounds. It's not the case in grief. Grief's with us. It's
Yeah.
with us for the long haul, but it's how we use it, how we live with it. And then ours receive help, which is one of my favorite sessions where we talk about how others can help us, how we can help ourselves, all things about help. And then I is the actual base of Grief to Hope. It's inspiration. And so that's what I had to find in doing and developing Grief to Hope. But in my grief, to find my why, my fuel to the fire, my reason for getting out of bed. I had to find that inspiration. And then that's what drove my Grief to Hope. And then E is expectations, where we talk about how there's different expectations of men and women, how there's different expectations and biases when it's a type of death. Like, I feel like different people feel differently if I would have had a death of murder than a death of cancer of my son.
Mm.
And it shouldn't be that way, but we know it exists, especially with suicide or overdose. There's so much, almost like we're ashamed of even describing how our loved ones we lose. And so there's expectations of different, what did you expect, what did you feel, what did you not expect? And then F is feel everything. We talk about our triggers, and we talk about our loved ones. It's a show and tell kind of thing. I have them bring pictures and memories and ask them what they liked on their pizza and what TV shows they watched. And it's just a time to memorialize them and to say their name, which is super important. I say Justin all the time. And then the last week is to hope. And that's what's your next step. And that's really what it's all about. Small, big, large, personal, business, career, it doesn't matter. It's developing a step for each and every day to move forward, to focus on to your overall goal. Like I said today, I think it was on your post, we wish for dreams. Let's not wish for dreams. Let's live them. Live
Yeah,
for our dream, right?
right.
And that's really Grief to Hope. It is an open conversation. You can be yourself, come in your pajamas, bring coffee, bring wine, bring whatever you want. We be on camera, don't be on camera, no makeup. It's for men, women, it's for anyone that's grieving, whether it's 3 days or 30 years. We all grieve different. We're all individuals, and we all respect that in that group.
Wow, that is so powerful. And this is what connected Hope and I together all these years later. I think we got together. When was the first time we connected, Hope? Do you even remember?
I think it was
It
2021.
was 2021. Yeah, we were in the throes of COVID-19.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
everybody was like, "Okay, we can't do anything, so help us make sense of this world." And when I heard Hope's story, I was just like, I was so amazed. And for those of you out there in Impactville who are listening, we have every night. It's a different type of presentation. It's a cathedral of resources. Your friend who I watched you on his show, Paul, how do you say his last name? Forchione. How do you say his last name? Yeah,
I'm going to
that
go
guy.
with whatever you say.
Paul, she can't even pronounce your name, and she was on your show. But anyway, Paul says that he bought your book, and I need to get that out for all of our audience and tell us where we can get your book. And we're going to go into that a little bit. Tell us about your where we can find your book at.
Absolutely. And Paul, I'm so sorry. I could have attempted to say your name.
What did he say? He said fortune. He said pronounce it like fortune.
Oh, well, if we knew it was that easy, we would have did it a long
Well,
time ago. I
Paul,
love
why did
Paul.
you why did you just spell it like fortune, brother?
Make it easier on us. Make it
Yeah,
easier. No, I love Paul.
Paul's a great man, and I watched you on his program, and I watched many times. Paul doesn't know that I tip into his program many times, and as a content creator, sometimes people think that, oh, you've got all the answers. No, I go to get support and uplifting from other content creators, and Paul Fortune is an amazing person out there in California. Is that where he's at?
He's in Long Beach. I do know that. Do I
Yeah,
get points
she
for
does
that?
know. Paul, she does know where you are. So there you go, Paul. So how do we get your
I
book?
get points.
How do we get your book?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Grief to Hope is a book that I wrote in support of the program. I came across someone that said, okay, I'm not comfortable in a group setting, Hope. What else can I do? And that's when I wrote my story and wrote the program within the book. So Grief to Hope, you can find it on Amazon. And you can find it at Barnes and Noble. Both have that access. And you can just look it up, Grief to Hope, Hope Reger.
So, Hope, how do I get a signed copy though? I'm not down with these. I don't want no commercial copy. I want a signed copy.
It is on its way. I will get it to you. I
Okay.
just sent one to one of your previous guests. Is it
Is that right?
Farah?
Who?
Farah? Farah?
Vera?
Farah?
I,
Fair. She
I
was on
don't
a
know.
couple weeks ago.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we have so many folks, Paul. So I can't even remember who I had last week. So now so we're all even now since we couldn't remember how to pronounce Paul's last name. But no, truly, if you want to go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, the title of the book is called what? Hope.
Grief to Hope.
Grief to Hope, and explain a little bit, kind of like just so we can focus in on what that book is about, so people can understand how it can help them.
Absolutely. So it's pretty raw and it's pretty open and it's very transparent. And that's one of the things that I love about the book is that I did not sugarcoat anything. I walk through great details of from finding out about my tragedy of losing my son all the way through to last year, basically.
Yeah.
So from 2016, it's my memoir of everything that I felt. And one of the things that what I hear about the book is it's very raw, it's very open, it's very transparent. But not only that, people resonate with, like, they get it. They're like, that happened to me. And it's anywhere from, the organ donor call. I wasn't prepared for someone to call about Justin's organs the day that I found out he passed.
Mm.
And, also the funeral arrangements. It was very hard for me to understand that nobody had empathy when it came to a funeral home. Like, they were in it for the business, and I get it. It's a business, you're making money, your job. But it was so business like. I felt like I was planning a party or an engagement. Like, I had to have a deposit and I had to have, this amount of money up front. And luckily I had the means, but I just wasn't prepared for, okay, you have to have $10,000, hope to, or we won't go get him at the morgue. And all, as a mother, I'm thinking to myself, my son's in this cold place all alone. And you're telling me it's like a business transaction. Well, you need 10,000 and we'll go pick him up. And I was devastated by that. I was also shocked by many things that happened within those timeframes after, and how you go through many, many feelings and emotions and roller coasters and, anger. Man, that anger scared me. It scared me.
Well,
I Go
again,
ahead.
ladies and gentlemen, I got my friend, my sister. She's sister for life now. You can find her at grieftohopesupport.com. That's Hope Reger. And she has gone through something that no parent really enters into parenthood anticipating that they will go through, and that is the loss of a child. And I always approach this show with hope, because this is our third time on Impacting Life 24/7. I always approach this show with an air of reverence, because I've had a lady on the show, and I think I've connected you to before, the little black dress. She
Mhm.
talks about how people don't know what to say when you're trying to console somebody in loss. So if we could paint the picture of what you went through, because many people have not heard. We've got a whole new audience since we started back in 2021. Tell us just how this all unfolded for you, Hope, if you don't mind.
As far as how did I find out about
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah.
Um, I literally, there was a knock at the door at 6:30 in the morning, and I looked out. I lived in a condo at the time, and I looked out my bedroom window, and there was two police officers standing there. And I was thinking, oh, this isn't good. But I had two boys, right,
Mhm.
that weren't living with me at the time. So I thought, well, they must have did something and can't remember mom's number, right? That was the first thing that went through my mind.
Right.
And I opened the door, and the two police officers standing there handed me a note, like a piece of paper, like a post-it that had a name and number on it. And literally, I asked them what this was about. They asked me who I was, and if I was Justin's mom. And I said, yes. Do you know what it's in regards to? Because they said I needed to reach out to this person on this note. And they said, no, ma'am, we don't know. But just call them. And so I thought, surely if something was horrific, that they would have told me, because that's what they do in TV and movies. And, you
Right.
see actually in real life. And I went upstairs with that note and I dialed the number thinking it's 6:30 in the morning. Nobody's going to answer. Um, and the person on the other line said Greene County Coroner. And I was in shock and disbelief and overwhelmed and completely blown away, and thought to myself, I've dialed the wrong number. And he literally said, Hope. And I said, yes. He said, I am so sorry to do this over the phone, but your son was in an altercation with his roommate, and it turned violent, and he was shot and killed. And this is 6:30 in the morning, but this actually happened at 1:30 in the morning. So my son was taken to the hospital and to the morgue within that 5-hour time frame, and I had no idea.
Wow.
No idea. And so as you go through that, you're in a state of shock and disbelief. And I, knowing that I lived in a small town, was very, very worried about my family finding out, because it was a murder in our small town. It was all over the news. Now, they hadn't said his name, but if you would have, saw the house and the year, they said a 19-year-old. So I had to go on to autopilot and had to make those horrific calls to his brother and to my family to let them know that their brother and Justin had passed. And I had no answers. No answers to any of the whys, any of the questions, any of that. And somehow your brain goes into that autopilot mode, and you end up literally going through the motions, but you're sort of out of body experience kind of thing. And then, as you know, with the civil or the criminal trial, because of a technicality of where he stood, Justin had him up against a wall, even though Justin didn't have any guns or knives or weapons of any kind. He was released or never indicted by the grand jury. He pled self-defense.
Wow. And that's something that you've had to carry with you for all these years, huh?
So with that, that's when I had to make a decision in my life. And that was the actual turning point, was when I got the call several months later that he was not going to be indicted. He was not going to be responsible, that I had to make the mindset choice that I could lay in my bed and be angry as hell and hate life and hate everyone and everything. And not one person, as you would know, would doubt me, would criticize me. They would understand if I stayed in that bed.
Right.
But that wasn't the choice that I had to make. I had to live in honor of my son. I had to get my butt out of bed. And I say this with all respect, is he took Justin, but he was not going to take Hope. And so that's how I live.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, if you have lost a loved one, this is why we ask Hope. I think I just told you to just schedule yourself every quarter. Did I tell you that, Hope?
Yes, sir. You said just schedule.
Yeah, that's good. So we have her on autopilot here at the Impacting Life 24/7, and we've asked her to come on every quarter and talk about this, because I think in my post I said if you've lived any amount of time at all, you've dealt with grief, and it in one form or another. And I, a dad of 7 children and 7 grandchildren, I was telling my wife the other day, man, I just couldn't imagine not having these kids around, right?
Right.
And the emptiness and the aching feeling of losing a child is, you know, is daunting in and of itself. And then the whole, you've got to like try to figure out how to do life after that. And so Hope has formed a group called Grief to Hope Support.com. I know there are many of you out there who will listen to this broadcast today or later who have lost a child and lost a loved one prematurely. And you're really just trying to figure out how to get the handles on the wall to begin to climb up. Well, Hope has created a very safe, wholesome group called Grief to Hope. And it's a virtual group, so it doesn't matter if you're in Kentucky or if you're in New York or if you're in Louisiana or California. You can be a part of this group. And tell us how it works, Hope.
Absolutely. So we have a new session, a new program starting October 19th. All you have to do is dial into our Zoom, and you can find the information on the website, and just open your heart and be there and show up. And you do not have to speak. You don't have to even show up on camera. One of the greatest things that I've seen over the years, because I've done this since 2020, is I have people showing up for the first 7 weeks and just observing, just listening. And then they feel comfortable, they come back. Because you can take the program over and over again. It's completely free. It's completely open. And every session is different. So if you miss one, that's okay. Life happens, right? And you can retake the program over and over. And I've had people that have been with me since 2020 that are still attending this group because they get so much out of it. But also sharing their story helps so many. Your story matters. Every single person's story matters.
That's so powerful. Your story does matter. And if you're looking, sometimes people feel like when they've lost a loved one, Hope, that they're just out here floundering around by themselves. And that's why I knew we needed to bring you back. I'm so glad you just got yourself on the schedule. Get yourself on the next schedule.
I got it.
Yeah, as you know how to do it. And I don't even look surprised when I see when I see her name pop up. Now there's some people who go and schedule themselves, and I'm like, Greg, get them off the schedule. But when I see Hope, I'm just like, this is what we need to realize, is that if you've lost someone that's dear to you and you're really trying to find out how to navigate that, and you like a space, a place where you can kind of unpack that in your own time frame. Your courses or your sessions run how many weeks?
7 weeks for 1 hour each week. We try to limit it just because it is hard. It's hard to talk about it, but also we want to be respectful of your time. So it's 1 hour sessions. We try to keep it to that.
And if you circle back around and you want to do another 7 weeks, you can do it, and as many as you want to. Hope does not charge, and she does not, there's no admission price or anything like that. She's just providing a place because she understands what it means to grieve, and her name is Hope. And what God has done through her is taking her grief and helped to translate that into hope. And God knew what he was doing when he named her. So I would love for all of you to go to grieftohopesupport.com. And if you connect with her, I really would love to come and just give a word of encouragement to your group, Hope. So why don't you just ping me in the next session that's coming up and just say, hey, King, this is the night. And I would just love to come for, a minute and 20 seconds or so and just give the people a moment of motivation. That's who I am, the impact motivator, right? And just give them an understanding that they're not alone and someone else knows what they're going through. And if you are out there listening and this is something that you would like to connect with, I would love for you to go to grieftohopesupport.com. You can find Hope Reger on Facebook and social media, but the website is the best place to connect. There's no obligation. There's no financial requirements. You don't even have to come on the camera in the Zoom. And I know some of y'all will probably appreciate that because you ain't got to get made up. You can just go in your pajamas. And
Yes.
so you've been doing this for how many weeks? Hope?
I've been doing Grief to Hope since 2020, October 2020. So 3 years I've been doing it.
3 years. And we're looking to expand this and go to, deeper and broader expansions, right?
Yeah, I'm looking into doing it into nonprofit. I'm actually working with getting all that government fund stuff taken care of so I can turn Grief to Hope into a nonprofit. As well as I'm going to start coaching one-on-one. I'm developing that as we speak. So a lot of great things are happening. I'm looking forward to it. And you being my mentor, it's amazing.
Well, Hope, you need to DM me the information to purchase that book because I'm not getting it for free. I want to purchase it and I want a signed copy because she purchased my book. She was actually with us on the night that we launched our book, Who Ate My Brownie? She's been with us ever since. And I believe that God is expediting relationships. So I've never met her in person, but I do know that we are brother and sister in Christ as well as in mission. And so hope to all you got to do is go to grieftohopesupport.com. I've already volunteered my services to her board, and I just want to, this is how much I believe in this, y'all, that what she's doing is so valuable and so important, and I want to see people be blessed and touched and uplifted. There's so many folks who are out here, they're just posting pictures of their lost loved ones and they have no clue of what the next steps is. And Hope, kind of what do you, if I could ask you, you walk them through that grief acronym? Is that what you do over the weeks?
Yeah, so we start with an introduction and then we go through weeks 2 through 6. We spell out the word grief, and then the final session is to hope. So we walk you through how to make a plan. Moving forward, what I try to do is just focus on the next day, right? You have a bigger picture in mind, but let's focus on the next day and what gets you out of bed and what's your why, what fuels your fire in honoring your loved one, because that's the biggest thing.
That's so good. And I don't know if you guys can see it live here, but I did this last time and I'm doing it again because Hope is my sister and I love her so much. So this is her beautiful son. And I want you to tell us a little bit about him and let us connect with him. And that will definitely help us understand the mission.
You did this to me last time, and you just said, yes. Gosh, he was handsome, wasn't he? Yeah. Justin was wild and he feared nothing. And he was a leader of all leaders, but most of all, his sense of humor and he could do the best imitations there ever was. Is incredible. And I miss his smile and his sense of humor and just having him with me, and he was a great kid. He was a great kid that his life ended way too short. But that's why I do what I do, because I live for both of us now. So it's me and him together to conquer this, right?
Right. And you can see Hope's face just light up when she sees her baby son, and my face lights up because this is the third time me telling this story and sharing this story. And, Hope, I'm so thankful for you to be willing to come on to this show and kind of be transparent and to be vulnerable and to share your moments with us. And in the pre-show, yes, y'all, I was crying tears because I love this lady so much. I love her son. I love her family. I love her mission. And that's one thing about this whole podcast thing that we do um, I have had some amazing guests on this show since 2019. But I've tried to, in every case, connect with them in a way that, hey, look, I don't just want to bring you on the show and just talk. I want to lift you up. I want to lift up your cause. I want to lift up your mission. I want to connect with you. And I've not been able to do that with everyone. But with Hope Reger, I have. So I love you. And
I love you.
What I'm asking for you to do, as you know, since it's your third time, you ain't no stranger now, I would love for you to talk to those folks out there who are going through grief or have gone through grief recently. They really don't know what to do, Hope. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I want you to give them a word of encouragement. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And your words are so beautiful. If you are grieving, have patience with yourself and find someone or something that gives you that peace. And if it's me, if it's a support group, if it's a counselor, if it's a best friend, if it's your pastor, whoever, find that person that you can be raw, open with. But most importantly, know that your grief is individualized as your fingerprint, and you will find joy again.
Yes, you will find joy again. And I believe that her name is a prophetic name. And so Hope Reger, you can find her at grieftohopesupport.com. And I would hope that everybody would go and connect with her. And even if you don't go to the support group, get her book. What's the title of your book?
Grief to Hope.
Grief to Hope is very, very simple. Yeah, some people are like, how can I find your book? It's the title. It's the title. Who Ate My Brownie, right? That's the title. So go find it there. And so you can find her book at Grief to Hope. She's going to send me a message after the show where I can send her the funds where she can send me a signed copy. So she supported.
I got you.
She supported our book, and so I'm so thankful for her and her support. And Hope, here's what I want you to know: that there's loss rampant in this world, but with the loss, God has equipped those. Now, he hasn't equipped everybody, but he's equipped people like you to rise up and say, hey, look, I want to help you get through this. You could very well easily kind of wallow in your own sorrows, right?
Oh, yes.
How long was that period where you just were just in the doldrums?
3 to 4 months. Like 3 to 4 months. It was very, very hard. And then that's when I had to make that decision. And I could have stayed there. And like I said, nobody would have criticized me. But I knew I had to live for both of us.
Right. Well, we're thankful for you rising up. And if you would like to connect with Hope Reger, just go to grieftohopesupport.com. And Hope, I know we'll see you in another quarter. You got the link. All you got to do is schedule yourself. You know you're important when you can schedule yourself on this show, right?
I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now.
So don't forget to send me the message on the details for me to get your book. I want to support it. I want a signed copy, and when you come back the next time around, we'll be able to talk about it ad nauseum. Okay.
Sounds beautiful. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Hope. You have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Hope Reger. And Uriah, do you still hear that way? Because we have it pushing through the sound right through the soundboard. So let me know if you still hear it that way that you described. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Hope Reger. Go to grieftohopesupport.com and let God help you heal from the loss in your life. She's someone that we hold very, very dear here at Impact Life 24/7. And if you get the keys to come in anytime you want, you know you're special. She's got the key. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here this coming Thursday. And I want you guys to be sure to tune back in this Thursday, where we will have Dr. Ed Bell on the show. It's been a long time coming, where he and I got together in the same room to discuss his book and all the things education, and just chop it up with him. I can't wait to introduce you guys to Dr. Ed Bell. He's a wealth of information and knowledge. Look forward to having him, and look forward to having you right back here on Impact Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. Take care.